Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at
On to
jeffbanks.bet.
day 3 of the Christmas racing, we're going to race through a couple of races for you very, very quickly, and we're also going to talk about some ex-French horses to follow. In the company of Adam Mills, there'll be some horses to follow from Andy and from Peter as well. But we'll begin with the Savills hurdle. Home by the Lee is general 2-1 shot. Bob Ollinger 3s. Hewick comes to this race, we think, instead of going to the King George, which he's the reigning champion in. Okay. 7-1 shot. Asterion Phalange. 8s, or whatever price you want, basically. Who wins the 3-mile Savills hurdle in the absence of the greatest staying hurdler in training, Teahupoo? Adam.
Well, probably Home by the Lee, but I'm not really sure I want to get overly excited by this race. It's a bit like the long walk at Ascot. It's just the usual bunch of stayers plodding around, and they're not good enough to beat Teahupoo. I thought Home by the Lee was the sort of the obvious one. If they're quite positive, he might just outstay these. I'm not really sold that Bob Ollinger wants a 3-mile trip.
Yeah.
I just think Bob Ollinger's ended up in this division because they've got nothing else to do with him. And then apart from that, you're into guesswork with the likes of Asterion Phalange, Nobody Eats and all the rest of it. So Home by the Lee is the one I'd expect to win, but I have no interest in backing him at 2-1. And I just think when I looked at this market, I thought Teahupoo's 13-8 for the Stayers hurdle. Home by the Lee's 2s for this. Really, if you're desperate to get some kind of angle out of this race, it should just be to take that Teahupoo bet, because nothing's coming out of this division at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's a race to preview, Peter. So tell me who you think is going to win, and if you're very bullish about something, great, I'll follow you in blindly, but I'm not confident about any of these.
Well, no, I'm not bullish about anything. I like Home by the Lee, but he's a bogey horse of mine, so I'm going to dodge him. I'm going to go for Bob Ollinger. I think, I know Home by the Lee beat him last time out, but Henry's first time out at Navan, in graded races, I'd say there's more to come from Bob. I know he's ran twice, I think, over 3 miles, and he hasn't really shone, but he had excuses. He wasn't, I'll just bring it up here. He'd kind of lost his form a bit when he was stepped up to... No, the first time he was stepped up to 3 miles was at Punchestown 22, and he was pulled up on Capodanno, and then he ran over 3 miles again on the 28th of December in 2022, and he was well beaten in this same race by Home by the Lee. But interestingly, there are the 2 times he ran with tongue ties. So I'm actually wondering if Henry's going to put a tongue tie in him again, because he's put the tongue tie in him twice, and it was over 3 miles both times. And some horses just don't like. I mean, some horses, they don't mind it, and some horses just don't take to it. So I just wonder if he resented the tongue tie in those races. And he has won a point-to-point over 3 miles, and he's won, we'll go over it here, he's won at Cheltenham on heavy over 2 miles 4. He's won at Navan on heavy at 2 miles 4. So they're all indications that he'll, stay 2 miles 6 anyway, and could well stay 3 miles. But we won't know until the day if he'll get home. But, he's just... I wouldn't write him off just yet over the 3 mile division. And if he runs on Saturday without the tongue tie, and if he doesn't win it, or if he doesn't stay, then there's no more excuses. So it'd be interesting to see what Henry does. I actually texted him to see, but he hasn't got back to me if he was going to run him with the tongue tie or not. But it'd be interesting to see what he does. And I'll go for him, and hopefully he's not declared at the tongue tie. And I take the angle that the horse just didn't like the tongue tie, and he promises to stay. Whether he stays or not, I don't know. But I hope he'll be swinging, turning in anyway, and we'll take it from there.
Well, it's entirely possible they crawl like they did last year, because I'm not entirely certain that Irish Point really stays.
I don't think Home by the Lee will really allow that. I think they'll press on. And,
if he turns up.
Not let it... Do you not think he'll turn up, Home by the Lee?
No, as in he'll run, but will the real Home by the Lee turn up?
Yeah. Well, I'd imagine he stays very well, so I'd imagine they wouldn't want it to turn into a full speed run race.
Yeah, just remember he was thumped 20 lengths in this race last year.
That's what I mean. He's a bogey. Anytime I back him, he runs like like Homer Simpson.
Oh, I'm
when
the
I
same.
don't back him.
It's the very same with me. Anytime I back Home by the Lee, he sinks like a stone through the field.
So no more Home by the Lee for me. So come on, Bob.
Yeah. I think I'm with you with Bob Ollinger. What about you, Andy Newton?
Yeah, so I mean, Home by the Lee. I mean, Joseph's horses are going all right. That's the plus, of course, distance winner. But I mean, I think it was giving £5 last time, so there's a bit of a swing there, 3.5 lengths. But you know, if Bob Ollinger is going to get the 3 mile trip, it will help on the ground, I suppose. You know, super consistent for hitting the frame. I think it's only been out of the top 3 once, isn't it, from over hurdles, Bob Ollinger. So that's worth a punt. And obviously, you know, Hewitt diverted here instead of the King George, so you know that's going to probably get its ground as well. Back over hurdles, not sure if that's a plus, to be honest with you. So, but you know, we know it stays. So that's a Home by the Lee. For me, it's just a risky proposition at 2-1. I mean, it's only won 1 of its last 8, I think, isn't it? So if I was ever going this race, I'd probably just lay that horse and then the others running for me. But it's going to cut up, isn't it? I mean, look, there's going to be a lot of horses not going here. I mean,
the thing about Home by the Lee, though, if you look at his form, every time he's won, he's backed it up. He's won 2 races in a row, then he's lost a few, won one, then he's won 2 in a row. So he tends to win 2 in a row and then doesn't win. So that could be something to keep in mind, lads. So don't lay him, Andy.
Oh no, I won't be putting him up as a lay on the Twitter thing I do, but because I don't really touch the graded races anyway, full stop. But I just think, I know it's not a race I'm going to get involved with. But there's definitely. I mean, look, you go through. I mean, is Brighterdaysahead going to run? I don't know. Is Hidden Valley Lake at the weekend?
No, that won't run.
No, she's taking on state land.
Hidden Valley Lake. No
exactly.
way.
So there's 3 big. Yeah, exactly. So there's going to be, you know, he's going to end up with just a handful of runners probably in this race, isn't it? So it might even be shorter than 2. But anyway.
Never mind all that nonsense. Let's talk about the race we should have started this segment with, because it's the actual blockbuster race that we're all looking forward to. This is probably the race of Christmas. And there's a lot of excitement. Constitution Hill versus Lossiemouth, a red-hot King George, Sergino versus Ballyburn. I would trade you that for Factifile versus Galopin des Champs, round 2. Savills Chase. Sign up now to Jeff Banks Bet, where you can get 5-4 Factifile if you like him, or 6-4 Galopin des Champs if you prefer him. Use the promo code FFP500 and get up to 10% of any net losses back after your first month of betting, up to £500. FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet. 5-4 Factifile, 6-4 Galopin des Champs, 8-1 Jerry Colomb. He'd need to start now. Spallance Tower doesn't go. Aya Maximus would need to start now. Corbett's Cross does not go unless he's pulled from Kempton. Grange Colour West, better than last time out. 40s might sneak into a place. This is really about the front 2. Mullins versus Mullins. Who comes out on top? Adam Mills.
I think Galopin des Champs does, but it's not necessarily a massively strong opinion. I just thought everything at Punchestown was against Galopin des Champs. He doesn't really run that track very well. He doesn't really get suited by 2.5 miles these days. I thought he ran well for quite a long way, and then he just got out sprinted in the closing stages. If he returns to the form that he showed in this race before, then he'll win this. But 6-4, when surely March is absolutely everything this time, would be against. I wouldn't really want to back Factifile or 5-4 either. It's a really tough race. I thought Hartwood would run well and is probably better than a 40-1 shot, but he can't possibly win unless the 2 at the head of the market, something goes really badly wrong. But I did think Hartwood was probably a better horse than the likes of Grange Clare West and I Am Maximus at this stage. He might just sneak into the frame, but it would be a place-only bet. I'll just sit and watch this, to be honest, because I don't think there's any value in either of the front 2.
Well, there's going to be a number of non-runners, and there's the possibility. This time last year, they were doing Will They, Won't They with Jerry Colomb. King George, Savills Chase on New Year's Day was mentioned. This was the race they went for. He's in the Savills Chase on New Year's Day again. So he might go there, and it might be the smarter option for him. Corbett's Cross is not going to go here if he's going to Kempton. Neither will Spallance Tower. So this is, and I know the way you're thinking, yeah, I like that horse. He needs to start now. So this is really about the Mullins front two. So the question is, Peter Michael, who are you with?
Well, I think I'll get to my selection in a second. I think you're being a little bit harsh with Jerry Colombe saying he needs to start now. I can see where you're coming from, and more than likely he's not going to win it, but I wouldn't rule him out. Who I'm going to go with, to be honest, the last time they ran against each other, I put up Fact to File, and he came out on top in this show. But there's only one horse I can go with, and it's Galopin des Champs this time around. The same thing kind of happened last season. He lost his first race and he lost his last race, and he won everything in between. And I think the same thing's going to happen this season. He kind of always, it seems to me as if Mullins trains him to always come on a lot for the first run. And then by the time they get to Punchestown, he's kind of over the top a little bit. And that's the profile he kind of has. So I think we're going to see a different animal on Saturday. And I think a lot of Fact to File, and as all of us do, he's clearly a serious animal, but you have to respect Galopin des Champs, and I would definitely have him favoured. I see 2-1 for him is the current best odds, and that looks pretty big to me. To be honest, I think he'll end up favourite, and I think he's the one to beat, and 2-1 looks a pretty big price. Andy
Newton, the Savills Chase, who are you with?
Well, look, Galopin for me as well, lads. So it's a clean but yeah, look, there's going to be people in both camps. Obviously, they both got unbeaten records over fences at Leopardstown on the line. So one of them's going to lose that. Galopin 5 from 5 and Fact to File 2 from 2, I think. So it's just as we said, it's going to improve that last run. It went further. It's still rated £8 higher than Fact to File, but I know Fact to File is going to have a bit more improvement to come potentially. Galopin, we've probably we've reached that ceiling, but as Peter said, it's not afraid to bounce back. We know it bounces back. It's done it before many a time after its defeat, and it's going to do so again here, I think.
Yeah, the more I think about sorry?
I was going to say, who's trained the most winners of the Savills?
Oh.
This must be a trick question. Because I mean, I don't know. You normally just guess Mullins, but it's too obvious to be true. So
I'll give you a clue. Paul Nicholls has got the same amount of winners as Williams in this race.
All right. Okay.
So it's not either of them two.
Gordon?
Gordon's got 4, but there's 1 on 5 to go back a bit further. I'll give you a clue. The horse that he won it 3 times with. It's a food. 2 foods.
Michael Horrigan.
B for salmon.
B for salmon.
Yeah. What a legend of a racehorse.
That's a great stat.
Do you know that Racing Post? Here's the top 25 horses since our existence in 2000. Did they even mention B for Salmon in that top 25? They didn't mention Hurricane Fly.
No.
Get
I don't know.
the fuck out of here with that bullshit list.
Did Win this race? Or I'm trying to...
Because he kept bombing out at Cheltenham, didn't
it? No, top 25 national hunt horses since the year 2000. The racehorse who won more Grade 1s, a world record amount of Grade 1s, Hurricane Fly, does not make the top 25. And no mention of the 10-time Grade 1 winning B for Salmon. Get the fuck out.
Where was that? The
bullshit.
Racing Post, was it?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
And who put that together?
I'm pretty certain it was Graham Rodaway.
Right.
I'm pretty certain. I don't know. It probably wasn't, but it just read like it. This is a... What can I do to make people angry? Yeah, great.
It works on you anyway.
What a load of absolute... But I mean, opinions are subjective and all that kind of stuff, but what a load of absolute nonsense.
That was a great Cockney accent, by the way. That was...
So
I love my Cockney
25.
accent. I love the Cockneys.
Hurricane Fly wasn't put in the top 25 horses of all time.
Oh, since the year 2000. The top 25 horses since the year 2000.
Whoever compiled that, I mean, there's no point even saying anymore. You should just don't even look at it.
No Hurricane Fly, no B for Salmon.
That's where it belongs.
Consign that to the garbage. because that's where it belongs.
Was that under the members thing that people have to pay extra for?
I don't know.
To read
who knows? I actually got very angry reading that. I was like, this is absolute bull. Galopin de Champ wins. Jeff Banks is good.
2-1 here. I have to say, that's very tempting.
What?
Well, hold on. Let me just go to odds checker. It comes up in my thing.
I can see it twos as well for someone, yeah.
I'd give them a shout out. Like, Jeff is paying for this, but I'd give whatever fool's going 2-1 a shout out just to punish them. William Hill. William Hill.
Yeah.
You idiots. You absolute morons. And I love William Hill, by the way. I really like the William Hill team. 7-4 fact to file, 2-1 Galopin de Champ. Guys, that's insane.
That's good value, all right.
But it's all about Jeff. He's going 6-4, which is what most people are doing. Most people are going shorter. Galopin wins this. He had an RPR of 161 when he had his comeback run last year, and then he came out with arguably a career best effort in this race. He's run to a 163 and he's come back in the same race this year in the John Ducker Memorial. He will absolutely annihilate this field. And you're getting 6-4. He will annihilate this field. Yeah, I love Factify. I love Factify.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it won't be an easy victory.
Oh, it will.
Like, I can see him winning by 3 or 4 lengths, which is easy enough. But
I was going to say 5.
Hammered him.
I was going to say 5. It's going to look real easy. Go on, Galopin. Go on, son. Get it done for us. 6-4. Happy days. Hopefully things are going well. We're in a good state of mind. And he just goes and adds to the good run of success for us, please God, in the Christmas racing, because we could do with some good news. Pretty miserable time of things. All right, we'll go for one more race, shall we? Let's talk about the December Hurdle, where Jeff Banks goes 2s on about State Man, 9-4 about Brighter Days Ahead, who beat him the last day. Mystical Powers 14s. All right. Winter Fog 25s. It's another Willie Mullins horse in Daddy Longlegs 33s. King of Kingsfield will be a pacemaker for Brighter Days Ahead. 33s. Filia Duderie, who has been an old friend of the show back in the day. Sir Gerard, he's got multiple options. The rest don't count. Adam Mills. Has Jeff got this wrong, actually? Is Brighter Days Ahead capable of beating State Man, in which case is 9-4 worth taking? Or back to Leopardstown, does this just mean State Man goes and wins?
I think State Man goes and wins. I don't really want to take the 1-2 because Brighter Days Ahead got the better of him and neither of them jump particularly perfectly. But State Man's record at Leopardstown is excellent. And whatever you think of State Man and the horses he beat in last year's Champion Hurdle, he is still a multiple Grade 1 winner. I just couldn't find a reason to take him on. Now, if Brighter Days Ahead sort of drifts out and you start getting towards 7-2, which seems unlikely, but if she did, then maybe you'd want to take it. But for me, I just thought State Man, this race is all about him. The track is all about him. It suits him best. I don't think he's got a hope in hell of winning another Champion Hurdle, but I think he'll win this.
Yeah, I agree. And I like Sam Ewing. I think he's a super talent, but he's not Jack Kennedy. And Jack Kennedy was brilliant on Brighter Days Ahead. And that's a problem in my mind. Peter Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, it's an intriguing rematch. I mean, State Man made a move around the last bend to go and win the race, and he took it up and he kind of made it bunny hop the last, and that kind of handed the momentum back to Brighter Days Ahead. It's a hard one to weigh up at the prices. It all depends how much State Man's going to come on for that run. Willie said he'd come on a good bit, so you'd imagine he would. Again, would I back him at 4-7 to turn the form around? I do think he probably will turn the form around, and I think he'll win, but I couldn't back him at 4-7 to turn the form around. It's a race I'd probably just watch because I can't see an angle betting wise. But as Adam said, if somehow Brighter Days Ahead drifted out to 3-1, I can see 11-4 at the moment. But if he drifts out to around 3-1 or so, you could nearly back him each way. You can nearly back her each way and guarantee 60-70% of your money back if she comes in the top 2, which I imagine, because there's 11 at the moment, but I imagine you'd have less than 8 running in it. Yeah, it's a race that I'm not going to be betting in because I do think State Man will win, but I can't back him at 4-7 to turn the form around. So I'll just watch it and see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating one. Are you tempted into the market at all, Andy?
No, not really. I mean, look, State Man is. I think they're going to have learned a lot from that last defeat. Like you say, probably needed to run. It will come on. Brighter Days Ahead had the benefit of a run as well, didn't she? So. Yeah, I just think they'll learn a lot from that. And, like Adam said, back at Leopardstown, was it won its last 4 there or something? Won this race, obviously, last couple of years. So, yeah. Revenge time, State Man. Mullins is one of the last 6, I think. I mean, who else is going to go in this apart from the 2 big guns?
It's going to be a small field.
Don't know, Mystical Power going to go?
I mean, even if he does, do you trust him now?
No, I mean, it's... You can't back it after the 5th run, and it's
bloody
just
awful.
A recovery mission job, isn't it? So yeah,
I think he.
Who are they paying 3 places in this race?
They are now.
Can you see that? What price is King of Kingsfield?
Please hold caller. Your call is very important to us at Final Furlong Podcast 2 hours. 50 the odds, 3 places, 33 to 1 with Jeff Banks bet.
He could sneak into a place at 3. No hope of winning, but I think he'll be ridden to place. And he travels very strongly. He could sneak a 3rd. That could be an interesting angle to get into the top 3 because you might only get 6 or 7 runners.
Okay. And
I'd imagine they'd run him.
Oh, he's definitely going. He's definitely a runner.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll make the pace with him. He's not that type of horse. He could sneak a place at 33. He's no hope of winning, but he's either going to finish fourth, give or take. So he could either finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th. He wouldn't finish anywhere out of that region. So you're getting 6-7 to 1 for a place. That could be worth it. Okay,
33 to 1 with Jeff Banks bet available now about King of Kingsfield. Maybe the only interesting betting angle in the race.
Yeah, because I think you're only going to have 5 or 6 runners. Yeah, that actually is not a bad bet. If you knew he was running, yeah, that would be a good each way bet for the place part.
Any other business for the Christmas racing? Adam Mills, have you got anything else for us? I know there's a whole heap of ex-French horses. Who should we be looking out for?
Well, there's about 15 to 20 in the next 7-day decorations, but I'm going to keep it short. Don't worry, I'll keep it short.
No, I was going to say, do we get some elaborate super hinds where we can really crush Jeff?
No, because they're all over the place, and most of them are going to be short prices for Mullins in maiden hurdles. Just of interest at Leopardstown the 26th, Cowabunga takes on Kopek the Board. Cowabunga's 3rd on her only start. Caramel Rouge won that. Camara de Huez was 2nd. He subsequently won a Grade 1 bumper at Paris Longchamp and a Grade 3 over hurdles as a 4-year-old. Cowabunga is one of the better JP purchases this year. Probably.
We're getting 4 to 1 about him now, by the way.
Nah, don't go betting him, mate. That was a kill game the other week. Just watch, because Cowabunga could run a massive race and still get done by Kopek the Board. But I think it's an interesting horse for the future. On the same day at Limerick, in the opening race, there's a horse called Lincoln de Soy. He won an AQPS 3-year-old race at Linieres all the way back in March, was backed off the boards by the Soror team that day. They could not get enough money on the PMU. Or Justin Madame rode the horse like he knew if he didn't win, he may as well not come back, because he flogged this thing from the back of the straight all the way to the line. It was interesting that he was bought straight afterwards. He was the first name on the spreadsheet this year. He is so unbelievably keen, or he was on his debut. There's no headgear on here, so I certainly won't be backing him at Limerick, but he's an interesting horse, and they might just have time to get him in the boodles. In race 2 at Limerick that day is a horse called Canesburg, another JP purchase for Gordon Elliott. 2 for 2 in AQPS flat races for Francois Nicole, including winning a Grade 3 at Nantes, and the 3rd went on to be Grade 1 placed. That's some good form. Gordon Elliott going to Limerick's quite interesting. And then in the UK, just a couple. I mentioned Morning Airs running in the 3-year-old hurdle at Kempton. Paul Nicholls has a horse called Nardaran entered in that. Nardaran is not a Cheltenham Festival horse. He's far too slow. He's come off the flat. But what Paul Nicholls does like to do with his French horses is go for the handicap hurdles at the end of the season, places like Ascot and Ayr, where he can get his 4-year-olds in with the allowance. There's just about enough time to get Nardaran handicapped, so I'll be watching how he runs. And then the final one is from completely left field. Certainly not a horse to think is any kind of anti-post or anything like that, but Livano Bello runs in a 3-year-old hurdle at Wetherby on Friday on first start for Mickey Hammond. Livano Bello was claimed out of a 3-year-old hurdle at Auteuil. The winner was Static, who's run quite well in the Wensleydale and in the Triumph Hurdle Trial at Cheltenham. the 4th, 5th, and 7th have all won since. I thought Livano Bello was the kind of horse who'd rack up a sequence once they get it handicapped, but that'll be in northern tracks like Sedgefield and Hexham. It's not going to be a Saturday horse, but it's a nice purchase and should be one to follow.
Of all of those, which one are you the most confident about winning?
I thought Gainsbourg should win for Gordon Elliott at Limerick, but I wouldn't really want to back it particularly because a horse that arrives from France in JP's colours with 2 1s next to its name will be far too short. But of those 5, I would say Gainsbourg is the most likely to eventually run at the Cheltenham Festival.
11 to 10 is currently available about Gainsbourg for that race at Limerick as we're recording. Peter Michael, any other business?
Well, you see, I don't know what's going to be declared after the 26th, so it's hard to know. I definitely have numerous horses I'm quite looking forward to in my tracker. Some of them who could be extremely well handicapped, but I don't know if they're going to run, so I'm not really going to give them away at this stage until I know if they're running. But on the 26th, the Drake put up Crystal Glance, Get Over That Hill, and Overnight Oats. I'd expect all 3 of them to go very close, and yeah, so there would be the 3 main ones for me in that day. But as I said, there's a very interesting horse lining up at down Royal, and if the market speaks for him close to the off, he could be nearly a steering job.
Damn. How can Final Furlong podcast viewers and listeners get more access to information from Peter Michael?
Yeah, just go on the Twitter page there, send me a DM on my Facebook page, and I'll add you to the group. It's free for December, and then January subscription, it's 25% off, which is €40 per month, but it's going to be €30 a month for the first 3 months for anyone that's joining before the end of the month, and we take it from there. Yeah, and if I get enough people interested, I'll continue with it. If not, then I'll see if there's anyone out there that would want me to put up tips for them or something like that on websites or papers, anything like that, because I've been producing the results. We've had
Absolutely
8 out of 11 winning months, so can't argue with that. That speak for themselves. So, and I'm hungry to keep going. So I'm looking for a certain amount of people to subscribe to it. Otherwise, I won't continue with it. So we'll see how that goes. And if it doesn't work out, then I'll try and spread myself around. If that's all right.
Okay. Well, you deserve the support, and if you don't get it,
cheers, appreciate that.
Something is ridiculously wrong if you don't get that support, quite frankly.
Exactly. I agree, to be honest, and I'm not one to say that, but I agree. I mean, €40 nowadays is nothing. You go out, you have a few of these, and €40 is gone in one night.
Mate.
And I'm going to make you money. I'm going to make you money in the long run. So,
mate, I went shopping yesterday for the Christmas for my mother and I and 3 cats. And now it turns out my poor mother can't come home. She's going to be in hospital for the entire
Sorry
Christmas,
to hear that, man.
Bloody awful. €550.
There you go. There you
go. Are
go.
you buying the cats? Jesus, what are they getting? Like
caviar from 550 quid. Unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wasn't being like, it'll be like flagrant elaborate, the Moet and Shannon. I was like, I'll go for this and I'll go for that. Unbelievable.
It is.
The girl, Gillian, who was checking out the groceries, she said her mother was in only a few days beforehand and spent 750. It's out of control.
Well, I tell you, if they were on my page and they're betting €50 a point, I'd have it all covered. So they'd be up €1,100 for this month.
Come on.
But no, listen. I just want to say, there was a friend of a friend and a friend of mine that passed away there just last week unexpectedly. Pat Rohan was his name. We called him Moss, and he owned a few horses. So I just want to say to his family, we're very sorry to hear the news, and please God, they'll get through this tough time, and may you rest in peace. Very, very nice man, absolute gentleman.
Well said. God rest him. I lost 2 fellas I know this year. Dave Sweeney in the last couple of weeks. God rest him. Dave was the kind of guy that everybody knew. He could have been the mayor of Cork if he wanted to be. Just frightening that somebody of his age would be gone.
That's life.
God rest him. And Micheál Sheridan, who was the CEO of the Mercy Hospital Foundation, in his 50s, 4 kids, raised millions, and I mean millions, for cancer services in Ireland, was briefly the CEO of the Air Ambulance for Munster, and then back to CEO of the Mercy Hospital Foundation. One of the nicest, most genuine people you could ever meet. One of the fittest men you'd ever meet. Gone.
Unbelievable. Life
brutal.
is just
Brutal.
Makes no sense.
God rest him, and God rest both of them, and God rest your friend as well.
Cheers, yeah.
It's been a brutal year. I'll be completely honest. A total, absolute.
Yeah.
Be glad to see the back of it. All right, Andy Newton.
Yeah.
Lighten the mood, Andy.
Yeah.
With winners galore. Truckloads of winners. You've got winners from Adam. Adam's given us 17 winners, guaranteed. They can't get beat. Peter's got winners left, right, and centre. Come on, Andy. You've been banging in these naps all year long. What have you got for us?
We have, Look, we've done it at the end of each sort of each day, haven't we? So they're the naps flying around. You know, I think Lottie Mouth and Gino, Long Presse in the King George. But we haven't mentioned the Challo either, have we? Just quickly, the Challo. I think we should just quickly mention that on the Saturday. Paul Nicholls' only good horse that he's got.
Shout out to Tom Malone.
Goes in that Regent Stroll. It could be a short price, but takes on hopefully the new Lion. A couple of big reputations on the line there, so that'll just be one to sort of have on your radar next Saturday. I mean, we're doing this on Monday, so it's just like, as Peter said,
whoa. Sorry, no, because I talked over you. Are you taking on Paul Nicholls' only good horse?
No. I'm not taking it on. I'm just saying, just to people have it on the radar that there's so much going on in Christmas this time of year. It's just like there's racing. At the moment we're in a bit of a lull, aren't we? There's no racing till Boxing Day, and then it's just madness, isn't it?
It's crazy.
About 4 days, and
it's overwhelmingly crazy.
Exactly.
Which is why we need Adam Mills, Peter Michael, and Andy Newton to sort things out for us.
Yeah, well,
I've given you 3 winners. I can't do more than that.
Adam's given us 17.
That's 20. How many's Andy given? And how many are you given?
There's at least 50 winners on this show, lads. At least.
So we can book the Vegas tickets now. We can get them booked.
I mean, Emmet's got a double in the Welsh National and the Irish one as well, floating around in the background.
The Welsh Grand National is the easiest race of the week. The easiest race.
There we go.
So who are you going for? Is Regent Stroll the nap?
Yeah, I think. Well, look, Regent Stroll. It's miles away. Look, for the whole of the festive period.
Yeah,
the nap. Look, I think Matador. I think will be like the one that I've already mentioned, like for the end of day 2. But that would be like the main nap. And as I said, I think Presse each way in the King George. You can get, I know, even money 6-4 for a sort of a top 3, top 4 place on that. Should give you a run for your money, hopefully. Okay,
I'm just going to check. As I'm checking to see what price he is, Adam, what is your most confident bet of the Christmas period?
The most confident bet would be OPEC in the juvenile finale at Chepstow. I don't think she'll get beat.
Oh, I absolutely love that I asked you that question. Peter, what is your most confident nap?
Well, I'm just going to base it on 26th because that's who I know is running. The 3 I've given, I'd be disappointed if 2 of them don't win because it's very hard to get 3 up. That's just the way the game goes. Look, Overnight Oats is running again. 3 he's miles ahead of his mark. His turn of foot is simply too good for the grade he's running in. He's going up a furlong, which obviously is unknown for a horse with that turn of foot. And he can be keen and he can pull, but he's just a different league to his mark. So I'll go with him and hope that, he's not too keen to use his turn of foot, but he's going to leave that. He's a stone well in minimum still. Same. Overnight Oats, 335 Wolverhampton, yeah.
So Gino, to lower the Ballyburn colours, right?
You're Come on. So wrong. You're so wrong.
Edit that part out to save him from egg in his face.
No, we're keeping that in. We're keeping that in deliberately.
I know, I'm only messing.
I think my nap is the laziest nap of all. Galopin de Champ.
He's good value. Yeah, he's good value. So I can see.
Is that 2-1 still knocking about? Jesus Christ.
That's a good
solid
price,
bet.
yeah.
The 6-4 is too big, I think. But hey, I've been wrong before. I'm not wrong about this, though. That's it. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the Final Furlong podcast in 2024. I hope you're with us again in 2025. A huge thank you to Adam Mills, Peter Michael, and Andy Newton for giving up a significant portion of the 23rd of December to record this show. We were supposed to record it earlier on. I wasn't able to for personal reasons, but I really appreciate all three for sticking around as long as they have. And I really hope that you have enjoyed the content that you've heard, the content that you've been watching. If you have, likes and shares on social media and YouTube are much appreciated. Comments, we love to hear from you. And we do interact with you. There's plenty of racing shows that say, oh, we love to hear from you. Comment below. We love to hear from you. And they never do a damn thing with you. We do. We do interact. Andy is in there at the end of every single show going, what's people been saying? What shit's been talked about us now? Peter's always interacting. I'm always interacting. We love to hear from you. Whether you disagree with us or you agree with us, we want to hear from you. It's a bit of fun. It's a bit of crack. I love racing. There's a lot of things to be really frustrated with, but trust me, this is sport. It's a great distraction, and my God, do some of us really need a distraction from the world. From Andy Newton, Adam Mills, Peter Michael, and me, Emmet Kennedy, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I wish you a happy Christmas. If you're with your loved ones, hold them tight and enjoy it. See you soon. God bless.
The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet.